Hello, my name is Christopher McConico, and I will be talking about Applied Environmental Microbiology, chapters 26, pages 757 through 766. In this chapter, we discuss some of the leading areas of applied and environmental microbiology. Applied microbiology, which is the commercial use of microorganisms organized in two distinct fields: food microbiology and industrial microbiology. Environmental microbiology, which explores where microorganisms are found in nature and how their activities affect other organisms and the environment itself. Food microbiology. Microorganisms produce some of our foods and beverages, things like yogurt, bread, and wine. Microbial metabolism also act as a preservative, destroys many pathogenic microbes and toxins. Also adds nutritional value in form of vitamins or other nutrients. The roles of microorganisms in food production. Saccharomyces cerevisiae metabolizes sugar to live in bread. This is what is used to make bread rise. When CO2 is released, which produces expanded pocket within the dough. Fermentation in microbiology refers to any desirable change that occurs to a food or beverages as a result of microbial growth. Spoilage, denoted unwanted change to a food that occurs from undesirable metabolic reactions, the growth of pathogens, or the presence of unwanted microorganisms. Fermented vegetables. We ferment our food in places all over the world. These are usually the result of lactic acid bacteria such as Streptococcus or Lactobacillus, which is specifically produce lactic acid during fermentation. Foods like kimchi, soy sauce, even chocolate, which derives from the fermentation of cocoa seeds. Fermentation is also used for feeding animals. Silage is a product used as animal feed on farms. It comes from the natural fermentation of potatoes, corn, grass, and other types of green foliage. Fermented meat products. The combination of fermentation and drying or smoking has been used for centuries to preserve meats, especially pork and beef. If not, meat has a tendency to spoil rapidly. Fermented fish is also common in Asian countries. Fermented dairy products. Milk fermentation relies on lactic acid buildup, and it produces characteristic textures and aromas found in dairy products, and is also used to produce various milk products such as buttermilk, yogurt, many different cheeses, which starts from pasteurized milk. Pasteurization kills unwanted microorganisms in milk. Addition of starter bacteria culture, the coagulation of milk proteins, the curd formation, cutting up the production of unripened cheeses, disposal of liquid whey as waste product, cutting of curds, which leads to the production of ripened cheese through pressing additional of secondary microbial cultures, and aging. Products of alcoholic fermentation. Alcoholic fermentation is the process by which various microorganisms convert simple sugars such as glucose into ethanol and carbon dioxide. Manufacturers use specific starter culture in the large-scale commercial applications of school fermentation, which makes different products of wine, beer, sake, and vinegar. First step is preparing of must by steaming and crushing of grapes or other fruit. Addition of starter culture of yeast and bacteria. And the second step is fermentation of must or juice alone into wine. The third step is clarification of wine. The fourth, aging of wine, which leads to the bottle of wine. This is a table of some fermented foods and microorganisms used in their production. Fermented vegetables, pickles, and the starter material is cucumbers, peppers, and beets. Soy sauce starts with soybeans and wheat. Spoilage food involves adverse change in nutritive value, taste, or appearances. It can lead to not only economical loss but the chance of illness or even death. Causes of food spoilage. Food may spoil because of inherent properties of the food itself or because intrinsic factors that have nothing to do with the food itself but by the way it is processed. This is a table showing the factors affecting food spoilage. The cause and prevention of food spoilage. To prevent food spoilage, food should be prepared at high heat, then kept and stored in conditions that don't facilitate microbial growth. Industrial canning is well known and used way to preserve foods. After food is prepared by washing, sorting, and processing, it is packed into cans or jars at high heat under pressure for a given amount of time. Another method of prevention is pasteurization. This is used mainly with beer, wine, and dairy products. Lyophilization, freeze drying, is another way to prevent food from spoiling. This involves freezing food and then using a vacuum to draw off the ice crystals. More ways of prevention. Gamma radiation, which achieves complete sterilization. Aseptic packaging, sterilized food containers with hot peroxide solution, UV light, or steam. Foodborne illnesses. Spoiled food can cause foodborne illnesses, but not all foodborne illnesses come from spoiled food. The two types of foodborne illnesses or food poisoning are food infections, which are caused by the consumption of living microorganisms, food intoxications caused by the consumption of microbial toxins instead of the microbes themselves, and signs. The signs are vomiting, nausea, diarrhea, fever, fatigue, and muscle cramps. An estimated of about 48 million cases of food poisoning occur each year. This is a table of the most common bacterial protozoal agents of foodborne illnesses. For example, Staphylococcus aureus. It affects cooked high-protein food, and it produces a protein toxin that is not destroyed by cooking. Industrial microbiology. In industry, fermentation is used differently than it is used in food microbiology or in the study of metabolism. Industrial fermentation involves the large-scale growth of particular microbes for producing beneficial compounds such as amino acids and vitamins. Industrial products are produced as either primary or secondary metabolites of the microorganisms. Primary metabolites such as ethanol are produced during active growth. Secondary metabolites such as penicillin are produced after the culture has entered stationary growth. Industrial products of microorganisms. Microorganisms, particularly bacteria, metabolically produce an array of industrial use chemicals like enzymes, alternate fuels, pharmaceuticals, pesticides, and agricultural products, biosensors, and bioreceptors. Thank you. That will conclude the Applied and Environmental Microbiology chapter, pages 756 through 766.